Hello folks, Buzz has been following cannabis legalization efforts across the country. With Arizona being one of the key battleground states, we've been particularly interested in what's going on there, and Mikel Weisser, the Deputy Director for NORML in Arizona, dropped by the Buzz studio with some updates. Thank you for stopping in, Mikel. So what is your role now as Deputy Director for NORML here in Arizona?
I was selected or asked if I would take on the role of being Deputy Director of NORML, try to revive its presence in the state and address this rift in the legalization movement before it costs the entire election for 2016. It's not necessarily an easy role, but I've been a fighter for years, so why not? NORML's role is to advance the organizations that want to reform marijuana laws. It's right there in the name, National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. Their stance is that creating legalization is better than settling for prohibition. And so they're encouraging me to work with all people who are doing a legitimate effort at making legalization. Right now in Arizona, we have 6 different ballot measures which have something to do with reforming marijuana. And I just got back on the job about a week ago today and doing all I can to reach out to all these different campaigns, offering my assistance as an individual and the force of NORML, which is a giant national organization going back 40 years. Most all the marijuana reform we have now, whether it's being brought under the name of the Drug Policy Alliance or MPP or whatever, starts out with what NORML has gotten going.
And it seems we have quite a squabble fest going between the two initiatives.
Ah, the squabble fest. Yeah, people around the country, I guess they face this when you start having a legalization movement, but as we got closer and closer to getting the first ballot measure filed and supported, we had a split breakup in Arizona, and now we have 2 ballot measures. One is the MPP ballot measure, which was drafted over several months, and then people who didn't feel like they got all the provisions that they wanted created a different ballot measure. The Arizonans for Mindful Regulation. It's about twice as thick. It's got a lot of nice bells and whistles, just to say, but both campaigns are struggling from the fact that they're squabbling with each other.
And Arizona is a key battleground state in this movement, is that correct?
Yes. Well, Arizona, it doesn't matter who you're talking to, Arizona is considered one of the top 5 or top 10 states that's a battleground state for marijuana legalization in 2016. So in an effort to try to get the scope of national attention that we're after, in my role as Deputy Director, I appealed to Keith Stroup, the founder of NORML, an icon in the field, to come and tour the war zone. And so we have gotten him interested in coming to the Southwest Cannabis Expo, which will be happening at the end of October, help us get this push going. Across Arizona, there's about 7 dormant NORML organizations: Buckeye, Prescott, Flagstaff, Mesa, Gilbert, even Peoria, all over the state, with the exception of Tucson. Tucson is like a very strong local NORML. Phoenix has a local NORML, which is pretty good, but it's nothing on the scale of the enthusiasm and the commitment of Tucson, but everybody should be that way. I don't know if you've looked at stories of other states' reform movements, but generally in those states, when we have rallies, there's numbering the people by the thousands. And here, doesn't matter which camp we have, they're lucky to get measured in more than a few dozen. So that's not the scale that this needs. We need to take on a national strength effort, and so I've asked Keith Stroup to come in and help us turn on the heat. It's going to fall on us in Arizona to keep legalization going, because if we wait for somebody else to fix it, it won't get done.
How can the citizens of Arizona best help NORML now?
I'm going to ask the same thing that I would have asked under any of the roles that I've had working on marijuana reform. First, look to the national organization NORML, NORML.org. see what they are looking for. Join NORML. There's a little donate button, there's a volunteer button. Click those. You can get a t-shirt for $25 and save the world besides. Second, find out about groups or activities in your community. We have 7, like I say, 7 NORMLs around the state that are revving back up to try to help shape this movement. There's somebody close to you somewhere in Arizona that wants to see marijuana legal just like you do, and we're going to work together if you give us a chance. Next, tell people about this. Remember, the first law, 21st century politics. Repeat it with me if you already know it. If a tree falls in the forest and no one tweets on Instagram to their Facebook, who cares? You have to make the public know how much you feel. They're not going to delve into it. They're not necessarily going to take the time to check. It's our job to make this everybody's first goal. When people want to talk about some other issue, get them back to marijuana. It used to be a taboo to even talk about it. Now it's accepted dinner table conversation, and probably the people that aren't used to talking about it with you are ready to learn. That's the most important thing. So back again. Join the national group, take up a personal crusade to get the message out, and if you can, get with these organizations. I'm working with both. That's the MPP is the Marijuana Policy Project, AZFMR is the Arizonans for Mindful Regulation. They need volunteers to get on the ballot. It doesn't matter how they squabble if neither gets on the ballot. So help us get marijuana in the ballot box on November 16th, and then we can figure out what to do after that.
Michael, thank you again. Please check back soon for part 2 of this interview with the Deputy Director of NORML in Arizona, Mikel Weisser. For more stories and other breaking cannabis news, go to WediaBuzz.com. Until next time, thank you.